Hello and welcome to today's DIY session on how to paint leather. Have you ever wondered if you can paint leather? And if you did, would it even hold up? The answer is yes and yes. I've painted a lot of leather. In fact, my most viewed YouTube video is how to paint leather furniture, and it was back in 2017. So painting this sad crinkled leather office chair, here's the before and the after, got a lot of attention. I've painted another worn out leather office chair, and I got a little bit artsy with the addition of the gold leaf frame. Again, a before and an after. My favorite painted leather project is this master bed from 2020. You can see the before and the after. And this bed belongs to my daughter and husband, so it has stood the test of time and toddlers and family pets really well. The most sentimental painted leather project was this antique leather suitcase that belonged to my client's mom, and she had me paint a scene from London on it in memory of her mother, and this is how it turned out. If you are new here, hello, I am Tracy, and I show up right here weekly to offer you DIY inspiration through home decor, thrift flips, creative techniques, and full-on furniture painting projects with a big focus on bold color and whimsical style. If this sounds like you, make sure to give a quick thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Okay, let's get started. Did someone say cowboy boots? I believe they did. One of my Curiously Creative group members recently asked if I had ever painted boots, as she had purchased an old worn out pair while out thrifting, and she wanted to use them as a door stopper or planter on her screened-in porch. Now, I've painted a lot of leather and I love boots, so I was instantly inspired. I found this photo during a Google search and used it to choose colors for this project. Okay, now I live in Texas and I love boots. And Matt, my husband, and I, well, our entire family actually, we have multiple pairs of boots, lots of boots. We aren't cowboys and we aren't rodeo people, but we do love a good pair of boots. Matt was willing to donate a pair of his very worn out old leather Lou Casey boots, knowing full well that after I got a hold of them, he'd never wear them again. He actually did say that he wasn't opposed to wearing a painted boot, but just not these, and not with gold heels. I don't know what's wrong with that. But anyway, to prep your leather, you simply need to clean really well with a good cleaner. Now, I used White Lightning, but you can also use vinegar and water solution, a 1-to-1 ratio. It's important to rinse really well after you clean with either one and dry well. Most leather does not need to be primed as long as you are using a chalk mineral paint. However, depending on the project, you may need to prime. Now, I primed that headboard and footboard that I showed you because it had a really slick finish to it. I used a single coat of Boss primer to prep the surface. Another reason you may want to prime the leather first is if you're painting a dark leather piece and you plan to paint it a lighter color. I recommend for Boss for this as well. Now, I did not prime these boots mainly because I knew that I wasn't going to wear them. I was just painting them for you as an example. However, even if I were planning to wear and do plan to paint a pair of boots for myself, I probably won't prime them. The painting technique I plan to use here was a blending reverse ombre. Now, this requires several colors of paint, and it is helpful if you use like colors to blend together. Now, I chose black, which will blend into the cobalt, that will then blend into the turquoise, into the pink, then into the bright pink and in red, and finally into orange. Having a color plan and understanding what colors will be created when two colors meet and blend is very helpful. If this is new to you, I recommend practicing on like a paper plate first. Now, I started at the bottom with the cobalt blue. Make sure your paint is mixed really well. And I added a little bit of black just to deepen that area. I then worked my way up through the colors that I mentioned above using craft-sized artist brushes. My favorite is a 1-inch flat, and a few spritz of water. Now, speaking of colors that blend well, would you just look at this turquoise color as I blend it into the pink? Do you see the gorgeous violet that it creates? That's a good blend. The chalk mineral paint by Dixie Belle is highly pigmented, and you can often do this in just one coat, just as I did on this project here. However, if you end up using more water than I did, your paint may be a little bit more sheer, and you may need to let your first coat dry and return to add a second coat for better coverage with a bolder look. I'm gonna let this video just sort of play through so you can watch the entire color blending process. It really is helpful to approach this from a non-perfectionist angle. Blending on one boot and then trying to match that blend on the second boot might be frustrating if you're aiming for perfection. It is also a bit challenging to blend around an object, but don't let that stop you from trying. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and let me just say that my creative life is much more enjoyable now that I've released myself from the perfectionist chains. Now it's time for artistic detail by following the stitching on the boot. I used cobalt blue as my underlayer and applied it with a very small detail brush. I love detailed work like this. I chose limeade to blend with the cobalt to really make the stitched artwork pop. I just applied the lime paint to the center of the stitched area and then used my brush to blend it into the blue. I use these two colors as a blend on furniture pieces often, and they work really well together. I hope you enjoy this part of the process as much as I did. Now for the craziest part for this entire project is the gold leaf. Who wouldn't want gold foil soles and heels on their boots besides my husband? I'm using the new Shine from Dixie Belle. It is less messy and way easier to apply than individual leaf sheets. You just apply the Stick With Me adhesive with a brush. You let this set to tack, which is a fancy way of saying let it get sticky, for about 30 minutes. Don't touch it with your fingers, it's extremely sticky. If you do get it on your hands, apply baby powder or cornstarch to your fingers to absorb that stickiness while you continue to work on your project. It works. Now apply the leaf. Unfortunately, I deleted the part of the video with me applying it to the heel. Yes, it happens. So here's a short shot of me of it immediately after I applied it. But here we will add some to the sole. You just lay the trimmed sheet over the tacky adhesive, gold side up, and rub it in place. I then use a toothbrush to rub over that area to help release the gold from the backing. You can see me scrubbing it here. It's so easy and there's no mess. It releases from the clear backing, and the clear sheet is all you have to toss in the trash. And finally, let's protect these beauties. You have options here. First of all, this paint does not have to be sealed. It will seal itself in about 30 days. But for a more hardy version of this finish, I recommend a top coat, either hemp oil, clear paste wax, or even the easy peasy spray wax. For boots, I prefer the paste wax or hemp oil. It really soaks into the paint and conditions the boot as well while leaving a really nice sheen. And this is the final look. Aren't they fabulous? I am so in love with them that I've been scouring the thrift stores now for a pair to paint for myself. If only these fit me. I love the color combo here, and just look how amazing they look with my beaded and turquoise jewelry. It's a whole vibe and I'm here for it. So I'm dying to know, are you inspired and will you try this? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I'll be back next week with a new project and I don't want you to miss out. And don't go away just yet. I've got a message for those of you that would like to work with me in a more intimate setting. See you next time. For those of you that are looking for a deeper dive into home decor and DIY processes, I would love to invite you to join my exclusive online creative group, Curiously Creative, where I show up via live video very often to guide you through every step of updating, upcycling, crafting, and creating the most on-trend home decor and gift-giving ideas. You can find that link right here and in the video description below.